Hi, welcome to LNF Media. I'm Pastor Pefile. As you know, today it's Wednesday. It's the day for marriage and singing. Today, we are joined by Mr. Pefile as we are talking about divorce. As we know that in these days, we are facing more divorce than marriage. Today, the marriages, they are turning into fights. So, just stay tuned and listen to what Mr. Pefile has for us. Thank you so much. Mr. Pefile, welcome to LNF Media. So, Mr. Pefile, can you please tell us more about yourself? Who is Mr. Pefile? Where are you coming from?
Coming from Joburg South, name is Pastor Pefile, also a pastor within the Assemblies of God Fellowship, but also a founder and director of Sound Doctrine, which is a ministry and also a Bible school.
All right. Okay. So, Mr. Pefile, as today we are talking about marriage and divorce, can you please explain to us, because most of us actually, we don't understand the word divorce. What does it mean? Can you please tell us what is actually divorce?
I don't have a legal explanation
Yes.
or legal definition for a divorce, but divorce is termination when two people have a shadilayo, then they terminate their relationship.
Okay.
That's divorce. Now, abanye abantu baye basebenzisa igama elithi, because you hear people saying we're not divorced but we're separated.
Okay.
But there's no difference.
Okay.
Because immediately you separate from this person, then that's divorce. Which people think divorce starts when they sign a divorce paper, but divorce starts even the moment you separate from this person, then that's divorce.
Okay then. No, as a pastor, we mostly hear that in Christian families, that's where most divorce comes from. Is it true?
That's true, because the reason in our country, the highest percentage they say about 75% is Christian. Whether they go to church or not, that's another story.
Yeah.
But it's sort of a Christian country, therefore that highest percentage people come from there, and then the divorce happens within those families. Yeah, those are Christian families in that sense. So divorce happens within the Christian context. It does, because they are human beings anyway at the end of the day. So that's true. Those statistics are true.
Okay. All right then. As a pastor again, do you think God wants us to get divorced or what? Actually, like you wanna know more what, like in a Christian family, yes, in a Christian family, yes, as a Christian, when you get divorced, because then most people they think that divorce is supposed to be abantu abangakholwa, then those who are born again, they are not supposed to get divorced, what it's a sin, what. So can you please explain that one to us?
Yeah, it's funny because I heard someone saying the time the Kalungenelo Bufundis, that once you start to be a pastor, you will never divorce because other people can divorce, but not you. The mentality,
Yes.
it's okay for other people to divorce, but when it's a Christian, then it's another problem. Anyway, God designed marriage to be everlasting.
Yeah.
That is why Nagma vows till death do us part.
Yes.
Yeah, but things happen in between, and then people get divorced. Now, God hates divorce. Now, He has a reason for that, and He put His reason in Malachi where He says He hates divorce because what the Israelites men were doing, it was wrong.
Yeah.
They were mistreating abafazi babo. They were divorcing nje abona omtshanje omhle afuna ukumtrade in like a car. So that was the reason. And God said, if you do this to the wife of your youth, I hate divorce. Because ngamanye amagama God was protecting women. So He hates divorce in that sense. As now divorce happens, most of the time they don't happen because someone just wanted to change a wife. Things happen between these two people and then it ends up in divorce. So it's about now what happens with that after it happens. So what happens when Christians divorced, as it happens, as you mentioned, people regard it as sin.
Yes.
Now I'm not going to commit myself and say it's a sin or not. I'm not going to commit that. But I'll commit everything God hates it. And if it is a sin, doesn't God forgive sins?
Yeah.
So that's the idea. That's where I stand on this thing. I'm not committing ukuthi it's a sin, and I'm not committing it's not. But I know that if it's sin, then God forgives sins.
Okay.
Christian sins.
Our viewers, they at home, yeah, today it's getting a bit more hotter and hotter, yes. So let's say someone is in an abusive relationship, or he got married to someone whom he thinks he knows, but after marriage, then boom,
Change.
another person appears. So can that person divorce?
That's a tricky, because a problem is Tina Christians, we like to quote verses.
Okay.
And then when we quote verses, we quote that verse 80, there's only one reason for divorce, it's adultery. But we forget to go as society changes, needs change, and now kuvela into ezifana abuse.
Okay.
So I will never personally advise someone ukuthi ahlale in an abusive situation.
Yeah.
But it's also always tricky because you advise someone to say, no, leave this man. Mabiphinda behlangana lana bezwana bathi yawo lo mfundisi uthe asihlukane. So I would advise the person ukuthi they must make their own decision. Hence naku counseling, a counselor sits on the couch and then akunikeza ama options. But I would not advise anyone to stay in an abusive relationship, because remember, God has called us to peace.
Yeah.
And if there's no peace, then there's no point. So in that case, if someone decides to get divorced, then it should be their choice. If they made that choice, then that's the choice they choose to make.
Okay, let's ask this one again. So, what are the main causes? If like you can explain 2 or 3 things, which are the causes of divorce in marriages? Let's talk specifically both sides, Christian and non-Christian.
Yeah, because anyway, marriage is not necessarily a Christian thing.
Yes.
Yeah, because Nabango Christians, they do get married. All right, there are many reasons for divorce. And what's funny is abantu mabe divorce, they say, what is the legal term? The legal term abayisebenzisayo ethi irreconciled differences.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so that's the legal term. But first of all, kuye kuthi loss of love. Thola ukuthi one of them akasamthandi the other one the way bekamthanda ngakhona, which is not right, okay? Which is unfair. You cannot just divorce because I don't love you anymore. And those differences, maybe arguments, differences about money, because main thing is always about money. It's one of the things about divorce, money. And religious differences.
Yes.
But sometimes even though they are Christians, people can be Christians but religious, but they are
different.
They differ. I have a friend of mine, Obeti. No, I'm with my husband. Okay, I go to Assemblies of God. My husband go to Grace Bible Church. We're okay. And I thought now they are lying. Within a few months, I heard they are divorced. Because even in that sense, there's those differences. Because if we are in a home and we're not saying the same thing or not talking about the same thing, those differences clash. So those are some of the main differences.
Okay. By the way, guys, Mr. Pastor Pefile, he is an author, an upcoming author, so he's busy writing a book about marriage and divorce. So, Mr. Pefile, can you please tell us, just give us like a hint about this coming book?
The book is mostly marriage, but I'm more into divorce because I'm trying to help abantu abadlule with divorce. It's about divorce recovery.
Okay.
So, because abantu mabe divorce is either they feel depressed, guilty, or ashamed, or whatever. I'm trying to remove that shame, that guilt, to say, listen, divorce happened. You need to move on. You need to know that even if you divorce, God hates divorce, but He loves you. So if He loves you, He expects you to live. So the book is mostly about that, but including another question what are the reasons for divorce. So I try at the end of the day so that we be clear. Nalo odivorcile akhona ukukhululeka ukuthi wow, I thought I'm a bad person, I thought God is going to throw me to hell because I divorced, but they must know what that's not going to happen. God loves you regardless of what you divorce is what you went through. It's not you.
Yes.
It's something. Sometimes ubungenayo control.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to help those people through this book. This is what you need to do.
So when can our viewers expect this book?
I think mid next year.
Okay.
That I'm pushing with mid next year, around after Easter next year.
Okay.
Yeah. If you corona, you yes.
All right, Mr. Pefile. Okay. So now we are going a bit personally. So as someone who went through the divorce stage, how did it affected your kids? Understand? Because then, like, let's say uhlala no daddy ekhaya, mama no daddy bakhona ekhaya kujabuliwe, suddenly udaddy sekahlala ngaphandle, umama uhlala ngale, like, how did it affected your kids?
Fortunately, I communicate because into ehluphayo kunga-communicate.
Yeah.
Parents, they just fight without communicating. Then abantwana are confused.
Yeah.
And secondly, they use abantwana omnye afune abantwana abafavor yena than the other one.
Yes.
So if ayikho loo nto leyo abantwana ba okay, because on my side I said I want your life to continue as normal. You go to school as you used to do. Nenza yonke into, don't worry about this. It's none of your business.
Yes.
Ninimpilo yenu as long as inga-disrupteki.
Yeah.
So as parents, we need to make sure ukuthi impilo abantwana doesn't get disrupted. And communicate with them. If it's possible, we can communicate niyi-2 nikhona, so that kungabikho niba-teach ukuthi bangathathi side.
Yeah.
This is your mother, she loves you. I'm your father, I love you. This is ama differences is now our affecting it.
Yeah.
So if abazali are able to do that, that's what I did.
Yeah.
When the kids are okay, they are able to. I understand a lot because you don't involve them in that situation.
Okay. Again, as a pastor, you divorced while you are pastoring a church, you are teaching people, understand? And again, there's someone who's looking up to you somewhere there. Then suddenly, boom, the pastor has divorced. How did it affected your spiritual life, even the congregation, including your family?
Well, personally, on my side, it didn't affect me much spiritually, because I know my stand with God.
Yes.
Yeah, I submit under His love and under His grace. And then church-wise, not too much. But there are people who get disappointed in these things and judge if they want to judge.
Yes, yeah.
But as long as you communicate properly, I think one of the things, again, we don't communicate properly as pastors. And then people see, okay, this pastor divorced because ubone lo sisi praise and worship team, and it's not like that. So we need to communicate properly with it. This is what is happening, and this is what happened. And personally, as a pastor, this is what I stand. This is where I stand on this thing. It's wrong. It was not supposed to happen, but it so God accepts me. So if God accepts me, I expect the congregation to accept me. I expect the friends and whatever. I communicated it even with other pastors, and fortunately, pastors who understood with the age, and then
this thing happened.
Yeah, they supported me and saying, support. But I had to be honest with them and tell them what is happening. Because if you're not honest, they can't support you. They can't know. You cannot lie. Just tell them the whole story. This is where we stand. If you are the one who's initiating divorce, don't be afraid to say, no, I'm the one who started it. Because I couldn't take it any longer. I decided to do this.
Okay. So, let's say there's an unmarried couple there, they are still dating. Then they want to get married. Just to avoid divorce. Because these days it becomes a fashion to divorce.
Yeah.
People, they get married today, tomorrow they divorce. People, they get married 6 months, they get divorced. So how do we avoid divorce?
Two things. Don't cheat. Don't cheat, never.
Yeah.
Never cheat even when you're married. It's very important because it breaks the trust in the corner. And secondly, communicate. If you don't communicate, then there's a problem. Because the main reason You see, kuloma reason beswabekile a divorce.
Yes.
But there's one thing a common guy, bekungena communication.
Yeah.
For example, let's say umuntu uthi I'm divorcing because angisamthandi lo muntu. But still there was communication problem. Did you communicate what ufuna ukuthandwa kanjani?
yeah.
Did you communicate ukuthi you don't love me anymore and I try. So zonke lezi zinto, if it was money, did you communicate about money? Did you sit down and say I want us ukuthi senze budget this home ngale ndlela? It doesn't matter what the reason by abayibekayo, but still there was communication problem. So communication it becomes that thing. So people must communicate and not cheat. You'll be okay in marriage.
Wow. I'm learning a lot today from Mr. Pefile. So guys, okay, Mr. Pefile, can you please tell us what are the last words which you need to tell our viewers there at home? Someone is sitting there, is in a complicated relationship. Someone wanna involve himself or herself in a complicated relationship. Some of them, they are still happy for now, but then there are those minor fights. So what can you tell? And again, I can even say that there's someone then who's singing, who's looking for a partner, but then it's like, but no, I'm scared. So what can you tell our viewers?
I believe in marriage, personally. I love to be married. So marriage is a good thing because marriage inikeza security.
Yes.
Yeah, you know you're secure, you're protected. Inikeza futhi stability. If you want stability, then get married, because all these other relationships do not have stability as such. People can date, but they can change their mind at any given time. But marriage is stability. So if you're single, you want to get married, please don't be disappointed and uphela amandla just because kunabantu abadivorceayo. So the important thing is know what you want. Uma ungena emshadweni ungena uyazi ukuthi your plan is not to get out of this. If things happen, they do happen, that's life. Nonetheless, when ingena une priority ethi I'm here to make this thing work. So anyone who's disappointed in marriage, you got married or you wanna your parents divorcing and then you thought you'll never get married, there's no need for that. Maybe they didn't communicate properly, isn't it? Communicate. As long as you communicate properly, marriage is a good thing. God blessed marriage, so and he said it's good.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Pefile, for coming into LNF Media. From us, LNF, and you, our viewers, we thank you so much for being with us today. I hope you've learned a lot, and you were encouraged, you were engaged, and then So we thank you so much. So we say continue to like our page on Facebook. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please continue. Don't forget to subscribe. We say engage, enlighten, and encourage.
Aye. Into zabantu phela lezi. Juicy square. Yeah. Abasho. I say 1, 2, 3, 2 to the 4. I say 1, 2, 3, 2 to the 4. Give me the beat, I feel alive. Give me the beat, I feel alive. You're killing the rhymes, you're killing the vibe.